Hello Rowde and welcome to our worship. As I light the candle to show that our worship has begun, I'd like you to say with me, Jesus is the light of the world. Shine on us today. Today's worship is all about the word courage. Courage is a big word. It means bravery. It means doing something that you might be a little bit scared of. I think at the moment a lot of us are showing lots of courage. You know that things are going on around us. You might have read the news or seen the news and seen that lots of people are going to hospitals. Courage keeps us going. It gives us strength to know that we can get through all of this and one day we will all be together again as a school. Courage might be about being brave about something like you want to join a football team, but you keep getting told you're too small or you're not good enough. You get better and better, you keep practicing, you keep trying, and one day you go to the people and you say, I want to join your team. Please give me a go. When you have a go, they are amazed at how good you are. Had you not had the courage to keep on going, even though other people were telling you that you couldn't do it, you might not have got to join that team and show people how good you are. I'm going to tell you a story about a woman. She wasn't a footballer. She didn't want to join a football team, but she did have to stand up for what she believed in. She had to show determination against people who were trying to tell her otherwise. This woman was very clever. In fact, had she been in school today, she would have got the best marks ever in everything she did, in reading, writing, science. Her name was Florence. Florence was from a rich family. They owned 2 great big houses and had lots of servants to help them. They didn't have to cook or clean or worry about washing clothes or where the next meal was coming from because everyone did it for them. As Florence grew older, she started to get a little bit embarrassed about this because every time she set foot outside her house, she would see people begging for money, people who didn't have things like food or a house or clothes. She was also aware that actually when these people fell poorly, there was no one to look after them. Whereas when her family got poorly, there were doctors to look after them. Money bought you fine doctors and bought you good medical care. This made Florence want to go into nursing. She wanted to look after the sick and the poor. She wanted to make a difference and she felt that God was telling her that she had to be a nurse. When her parents found out about this, they were shocked and horrified and said, nursing is not good enough for my daughter. You are too clever, and anyway, you are going to go on to marry another rich person. You shouldn't be doing nursing. Nursing just isn't good enough. Florence was determined. By now, she could think of nothing better to do than nursing. She wanted to make a difference. She fought against her parents, even when they said no. She showed determination. She showed courage, even though she knew that her parents were unhappy with her. Her parents were so cross that they refused to speak to her. Knowing that she had upset her parents, Florence went off to follow what she felt was her dream. Florence followed her dream and became a nurse in a London hospital and then a matron. A matron is in charge of looking after lots of nurses. Florence was very good at her job and very dedicated. A war broke out called the Crimean War in a country called Turkey. There were thousands and thousands of wounded soldiers dying in terrible conditions far away from home. Florence wanted to help. Again, she faced opposition, people telling her that women were not allowed to go to the war front. It was no place for a woman to be. Florence felt that she could offer help along with lots of other nurses. She kept on going. She showed courage in her determination in order for people to listen to her, and eventually she was allowed to go. She became known as the Lady of the Lamp whilst there, as we can see from these pictures. This is what Florence looked like. Look how old the picture looks, and what a long, heavy dress she was wearing. Florence is shown here in a military hospital caring for the sick and wounded soldiers. You can see that she's carrying a lamp. There was no electricity to light up the wards. Everything was dark and gloomy. She carried a lamp or a candle to light up around her. And if we see over here, you'll see another picture of what we thought it would have looked like. This is why she became known as the Lady with the Lamp. After the end of the Crimean War, Florence argued with lots of people about the need to improve cleanliness in British military hospitals and other hospitals, as there were so many diseases because of things not being clean. She also set up special nursing colleges to train professional nurses, as up until that time, nurses were volunteers with very little training. We have Florence Nightingale to thank for all the trained nurses who care for us today. She is remembered for making changes to nursing and showing people that nursing was a very important job. This week was the 200th anniversary of the day she was born. It was celebrated by many who put candles in the windows. Let us reflect. It was not easy for Florence to do what she felt was right. People were against her. Sometimes it won't be easy for us to do what we know is right. People will be against us and try to tell us that we can't do something. Florence found that God gave her courage. People find courage in different places. Some turn to family and friends. Some search within themselves. Some people turn to God. Christians believe that God can always give them courage, whether for big or small things. Let us pray. Dear God, we thank you for the life of Florence Nightingale. We thank you for our nurses who are working so hard in these difficult times. We thank you for the courage shown by Florence and perseverance in fighting for what she knew to be right and good. Please also give us courage to do what is right and good, especially in these hard times. Amen. Keep safe, everyone, and we're missing you very much. Goodbye.